If you are a digital marketing agency owner or operator, one of the main objections you'll deal with in the sales process is, well, let's take a look at the agreement and let's look through it as a board and, send it over. We'll get back to you. And then you usually never hear back from them. In this video, if you are currently a digital marketing agency and you're using GoHighLevel for anything, whether you're utilizing it just as a CRM or whether you're utilizing its full capabilities for that, plus funnel, plus lead booking, anything to do with that, you don't need to have any other outside software to help you send e-signatures for agreements on the fly while you're in the meeting with the prospective client. So in this video, I'll walk you through the process on how to do that. So what you do first is you go within your sub account to the payments section. And here you then go to documents and contracts. And there's going to be two steps that I walk you through today. So the first step is going to be the key to being able to send the agreement on the fly is no two agreements are the same, right? There may be differences in payment terms. There may be differences in what you're going to actually bring or what you're going to offer. You may customize things on the fly during the meeting, whatever it really takes to bring the deal to a close. If you have to go in and completely edit a new agreement every single time, well, it's going to take you like 20 minutes to do that. And then before you know it, they're leaving the meeting. So first step to do this is we must set up a template. Now you're going to see I did one here below, but I'm just going to replicate the process for you here. So first thing is I'm going to go to the new section. Now what I did is an agreement that I'm going to put up. It's very important to understand. Disclaimer. This is just a template agreement I pulled from the internet. My recommendation to you, if you don't already have this set up, customize an agreement for your business and have somebody, local counsel, review it just to make sure you're crossing your T's, dotting all your I's, everything is situated. But when you do, I recommend any kind of document e-signature platform you're using, whether it be DocuSign, PandaDoc. The easiest way for these things to read is if you do a PDF. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to upload a PDF of my own, which is right here. And when I upload it, the first step in the process that I want to go in is I'm going to show you there's some fields that, knowing I was going to do an e-signature version, I left little lines in there for like placeholders. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here in a second. So the first thing here is business name. Obviously, you would not want to use business name in your agreement. That's kind of where you put yours. So here, you're going to see I left some blank spaces because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put fillable text pieces in here. And I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So the first thing is here on the left, you're going to see there's this plus icon, goes add an element. Let me just take myself and move myself over here. The fillable fields, you can do anything from a signature to a text field to a date, checkbox, and then initials is down there in the bottom left. Pretty much what I'm going to do, you can do some things in here like related to payments, document variables. That's a little bit more advanced. I think for the average type of business, you really don't even need to do that. You can just do simple signature, text field, date components, and that will take care of everything you need to do. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use the date field and I'm going to click and drag it here into this section. Now, the first thing you're going to see when I bring that in is here on the right, I'm going to have to move myself again for you guys, is there are two people that can sign an agreement and usually do. One is going to be the person that's sending it, and the second is going to be the person who's receiving and agreeing to it, right? So in this section, what I usually do in any agreements that I send is I make sure that almost the entire document I can fill out myself. The only thing that the client would have to do is just put their signature on the bottom. So throughout, what you're going to see me do is change this from contact to sender. I'm the person that can say what the date of the agreement is. I'm the person that can write the client's name here below. You're going to see what I do here. So I'm going to add another element into here. And that's going to be just a quick little text field. You're going to see it's enter value. I'm going to change it over to center. Perfect. We're cooking with gas. We can move on to the next step. So again, like I said, this is a template agreement. You'd want to be able to create your own. Now, what you may do is you may have different customized packages. You may have one that's like a full service. You may have one that is just SEO, one that's just content related. My suggestion would be have a few different agreements for those. Upload each one of those as individual templates, and then you can still send the same customized agreement on the fly without having to recreate it. Now, I'm going to skip through most of this and just go to the next fillable section, which is going to be here, the term of the agreement. So the agreement shall commence on, and what you're going to see me do is just throw in another date field, change that from contact to sender, and the next date field from contact to sender. Perfect. We're moving on to the next. And then the third section of this template agreement is just going over the payment structure. In this case, they call it compensation. So it's whatever the client agrees to pay. Same thing. I'm just going to use a text field because I can just personalize that to whatever we agree to. You may have from time to time somebody who says, if it is a referral, or if they do say they agree to a longer term, maybe you want to cut the price a little bit, you may not have like a standard price. So here I like to just manually enter whatever the value of that is going to be. And then the next thing is going to be payment schedule, payment due date, however your agreements are, you can situate. So I'm going to use the date field here on the bottom, and then I'm going to use the text field for the payment schedule here. And then the same thing, just changing each of these over to a sender. And then moving on there. Just going to skip all the way to the end here where the last pieces are just the signature section. So this is the key of where we're going to do things a little bit differently, where I'm going to show you how to make it so that the contact themselves can fill out that section. And then I'm also going to send a mock agreement so you can see what that process looks like both for the sender and the person receiving it to ultimately complete the agreement. So first thing is I'm going to take this signature. I'm just going to, click and drag it a little bit just so that it fits the line. Now what I'll do here just to make life easier is I'll just copy that, drag it down. And next thing I'm going to do is it's a name field. So I'm going to use a text here, and I can even drag that so it takes up the entire line. Copy that, drag that down. And then lastly from there is just going to be your date section. So in the date, I'm going to take this and click and drag it across again. And then we'll just copy it, and then we'll bring it below. So what I'm going to do next is make sure, hey, the service provider, who's me, in this case, I'm going to make sure that all these fields are something that I, as the sender, will fill out as part of my end of the agreement. And then you'll see here, I'll leave these red ones are to be completed by the contact. So in this case, it would be the client that I'm going to send this to. So with this is everything that I want in my template agreement. So what I'm going to do is I'll just call this 1 because I believe I used another template. So I'm going to save this. This is now saved in my templates. So if I'm ever going to be in a conversation with somebody, let's say we agreed verbally, but I want to have something in writing before we proceed. So to do that, what I would do is come back in here to my templates, and you'll see what I can do is this 3-dot icon on the right. There's a little paper airplane icon and use templates. So I'm going to use this so that I can create a brand new agreement for a mock client. The only thing is, before I made this video, I didn't necessarily plan effectively because the mock client is my name too. So it might be confusing, but I'll make sure you know what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that as I send this agreement, what we didn't do in the last section was add a recipient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a signing order first because I want to be, as the sender, the first person to sign all of this. And then from there, I'm going to choose a client, which in this case is just myself as a mock person. You'll see I have the 2 different emails, my personal and then my business email. So now with this, it is successful. You see I'm the first person to sign it as the person sending. So now with this, I'm going to send this, and you can do this in one of 2 ways. You can either send it as an email, or my preference is send it as a link on the call that you're with somebody. So you're going to see how I can share via link. I'm going to generate these links. And then from there, you see I have this ready to go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to fill out my section of the agreement first. So now here, this document has 10 required fields. I'm going to start filling this out. Perfect. So then select date. Today is the 13th. Client, let's just say client name so I don't confuse you guys. Perfect. Scope of work. Term shall agree. It commences today, whatever you agree to, because you might be able to get something in writing, but maybe the agreement doesn't officially take effect until you start doing the work. Maybe you're talking to somebody on Saturday, so it doesn't start till Monday. You could obviously start it whenever it makes sense. And then it will continue until whenever. Let's say we do a month-to-month term, so it's just going to be May 13th. And then all you do is you call them on the phone a couple days before. It's like, yeah, I'm assuming you just want to get rid of me at this point, right? No, of course not. Yeah, you just resend the agreement. Do another month if you want to do a month over month, something like that. So let's say whatever the price of the service for a month on a digital marketing retainer, maybe be something like $33.17 per month or something like that, whatever your schedule is. And then I'll say monthly installments as the payment schedule. And then the payment due date will be today, the 13th. And then lastly, from there, the only other section I would have to fill out from my end as the person sending this is just my own signature. You see, GoHighLevel comes with as many different styles as you want. I'll use this one and I'll make it blue. For me as the sender, I'll accept and sign. And then I'll fill out my name. And then lastly, the date of today. So now with this, you're going to see that I have finished my section of the agreement. So while you're talking to somebody, you can just, whatever you have to do when you're doing the technical side, whether you do small talk, whether you're talking more on the terms, you can do that while you're doing this. And you can say, oh, hey, by the way, I have the agreement. Here it is. Here's a copy of it. And then you can just shoot that link. If you're in a Zoom meeting, you can send the link via Zoom. If you want to send it to their email, you can send the link to their email, or however you want to send it. Then all they have to do is just these last 3 sections. That way, hey, this is all done. They can read through it while you're with them rather than taking it back to the board. And then at the end, all they have to do is just simply sign from their end. And then with that, we'll just use whatever's there, client name, and then lastly will be the date of today. Let's finish it. And success. So now what I'm going to do with this, they'll say, yep, I've signed the agreement. I'll say perfect. Now, here's an easy way that you can make sure that you're tracking this. So what I'm going to do now is go back, and in the original section here, I'll go back to all documents and contracts, and you're going to see here, over here in completed, boom, this one is recently done. So you can come here. Let me take a look at it really quickly. And now I'm on the phone with the person, or I'm in a Zoom meeting, or I'm in person with them, wherever you're doing your meetings, and I can see that all of these are signed. I can now download this, put it in my client archives, wherever you're going to save the agreement just for yourself. Just something to make sure that you are yourself protected as a service provider, clients also protected on their end, just to make sure everybody does what they're supposed to do. But yeah, that's really all you would have to do to set up an agreement. There's obviously a lot more steps when you're first setting it up, but you saw just how easy it was. Now I have the template, in a snap of a finger, I can send a customized and personalized agreement to this person, and we can just get it signed right here and there. I don't have to send it to them and have them go review it with the board or whoever else. We could just take care of business today, and we can get the process started for them. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys. If it is, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below, especially if you're an agency owner, whether you're doing new agency owner, 10K a month, 20K a month. If you're still not doing 7 figures a year, there's a lot of content I'm going to be sharing with you all to make sure you do get to that 7 figures this year. Make sure you leave comments down below if this video was helpful. If you need any other additional guidance when it comes to things in GoHighLevel, you have requests for any other videos on other tools. If I know how to do it, I'd be more than happy to create the video for you. If not, I will refer you to the best place so that way you can get the information that you need. But take care, guys. Let's get some more documents signed.